These are the stories
My little girl, she's changing lives just by being herself.
of organizations and people making a difference.
When you first tell someone about adaptive wheelchair boxing, it doesn't sound real.
And empowering others.
It saved my life. It saved my life.
Across Canada.
I scored my first goal in my first blind hockey game.
In our community.
Well, it is often called a jewel for people who like to enjoy outdoor recreation in Sudbury. Kivi Park is almost 500 acres of trails, wilderness and lakes.
Kivi Park on Long Lake Road in the city's south end is on land donated by the Fielding family.
And in Sudbury, the trails at Kivi Park are being used by Para Nordic athletes.
I think of Sudbury as a mining town reimagined. And we've taken it to a place where it was barren and gray and black rock, and we've regreened the community. We're surrounded by nature.
Beginning in 1978, the city of Sudbury, along with community volunteers, research partners from Laurentian University, and the mining sector, embarked on a mission to regreen the area after nearly a century of smelting decimated the landscape. Today, the city is now home to what is considered one of the largest bioreclamation projects in the world, with over 3,400 hectares of once barren land, limed, grassed, and almost 10 million trees planted. Deb McIntosh is the city councillor for Ward 9 in Sudbury, Ontario.
And it's still evolving. We're not all the way there. And there is a sense of community. So if you take that, and with this evolution that we've been experiencing, Kivi is along that timeline of pulling people together in a community and coming together to create something incredible and green and helping us live more active lives.
Located in Sudbury, Ontario, Kivi Park has recently become one of the premier outdoor recreational facilities in the province. In the heart of Canada's boreal forest, the park is home to a growing network of trails and other all-season amenities, making it one of the only facilities of its kind in the country.
Kivi Park is a 365-day outdoor adventure and recreation facility in a nutshell. In the summertime, it's busy. It's got kids and families coming for picnics. They're going for long hikes. They're going to Crowley Lake and they're going to paddleboard. They're going to kayak. That's summer. And then when we shift to winter, Kivi Park is everything you need for outdoors. And then Nina's Way is a 1 kilometer skate path through the woods. So we've got our fat biking trails, we've got our snowshoeing, we've got our general hiking, and our ski trails. My name's Carrie Lamarche. I'm the executive director here at Kivi Park. Myself, coming from Southern Ontario and coming up here for school and just falling in love with Sudbury, I love the atmosphere of Sudbury. It certainly is an outdoorsy community. If you don't like the winter, if you get cold easy, it's not the place for you to live. Sudbury is a community that embraces winter, and we're always looking for things to do. Everything from inception of the park was created with accessibility in mind as well. So most features of the park are accessible to anyone, no matter their age or ability. So that's one thing that we're really proud of.
In 2018, Kivi Park received designation from Cross Country Ski Ontario to become the first Para Nordic Training Centre in the province. An accomplishment made possible by a number of community partners, but an especially important milestone for Patti Kitler and the athletes of her Para Nordic program.
The conditions today are amazing for the amount of snow we have, but it's fast. So they have to work on understanding the speed of the snow. That time between half hour and then they bang, 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 okay? If you look at the terrain, people think you have to do thousands and thousands of hills. Well, you have to learn how to be fast on flats and then climb hills. Someone with a sit ski isn't going to build base because it's up, down. A visually impaired person, you throw them on a hill like that, it doesn't work at the beginning. People don't understand that fear of speed. So here is better because it's flat, people can see them. My name's Patti Kitler. I'm Cross Country Ontario's Para Nordic coordinator, and I started Para Nordic skiing in Ontario in 2006. I learned how to ski in 1978, and my passion just exploded, and I had to learn everything I could about it. I've coached since 1982, and I became the Ontario coach. So when I went around the province, there was a group from Para Sport Ontario, and I would travel with them and go meet kids in schools. So this is a provincial camp. We're here because we invited you. I started skiing when I was 25, so it's never too late. Someone said I couldn't do it. Oh, you're wasting your time? And I thought, oh. So I tried racing and it hurt really bad. So I tried coaching and it was more fun. Ontario has the biggest Para Nordic program because every single one of you. My eyes are good and I can see what I need to tell you, but I might be telling you in my words instead of yours. And all of us coaches are learning how to do that.
Originally from Thunder Bay, Kitler moved to Sudbury in order to develop Para Nordic programming in the province and preserve accessible sport for those living with disabilities. During her time as coach, Kitler has scouted and trained some of the world's top athletes and is widely recognized as one of Canada's early pioneers of the sport. Since 1984, Cross Country Ski Ontario has led organizing efforts for the sport certification and governance in the province. Their mandate: to provide Nordic ski clubs and their individual members with access to national programs established by Nordic Canada. While access to Para-Nordic programming has evolved in Ontario over the last 2 decades, this year the organization is looking to expand development opportunities with the youth program to attract those with disabilities to the sport of cross-country skiing at a young age, and the high-performance program for athletes looking to represent Ontario and Canada on the international circuit.
Cross Country Ski Ontario is the organizing body for all cross-country skiing events and teams and programming at the provincial level. My name is Victor Wiltman. I'm the technical director for Cross Country Ski Ontario. So I'm here this year because we're trying to integrate Para-Nordic and able-bodied, and for a long time, Cross Country Ski Ontario has been largely focused on able-bodied, and so this year, we're trying to take Para into our full-time staff programming.
Supposed to start at like 6 a.m., like 90% chance of nasty.
Okay, we'll keep it at 9 then.
Yeah.
End of July, the best month, guys. My name is Katie Mcmahon. I'm the performance coach with Cross Country Ski Ontario. And so that encapsulates Para as well as able-bodied skiing. Well, I'm a really big believer, and when I came on as the performance coach for Cross Country Ski Ontario, I really wanted to see a bigger integration of Para-Nordic skiing with the rest of the skiers on the Ontario team. I think there can be equal inspiration on both sides.
A lot of what we do is trying to bring skiing to everyone in the province. You know, everyone has the right to participate in sport. A lot of what we do is quite grassroots, particularly in my role as technical director. I have a lot of responsibility in bringing skiing to people, to introduce it to them, to teach them how to enjoy the sport, and that's really for everybody to have. Like, and there's no reason that having some impairment should stop you from being able to do that.
Within Cross Country Ontario, there are so many different clubs. Skiers that ski within their clubs and develop from like young little guys, when we call it jackrabbit programming, and they move up through the system, and some of them choose a competitive stream and some of them don't. And once they get to a certain level, they have the opportunity to then make an Ontario junior ski team and then eventually heading on to the national team.
We all need to cross-country ski just to enjoy winter because it's so long. If I could have 50 people, para people, wanting to learn how to ski with their disability, I would teach them with no problem. It'd be so much fun. That's the most important. The icing is if they want to be competitive.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
The training in Northern Ontario, I think it contributes to everything in my racing.
7th at the World Championships last year and a former sledge hockey player.
The level of competition is the best in the world. Some of these guys can compete against the able-bodied circuit. I've always had a competitive nature. Nerve-wracking a little bit, you know, the prep and the training that goes into everything.
Well, here's Colin Cameron, and the 29-year-old Canadian, has he got another big result in him.
But as soon as I get to the start line, I just get in the zone. I cross a little line in the snow with my ski pole, and that's it. I click a switch and it's race mode, and all I'm thinking about, I guess, is just, if I'm gonna do this, I wanna race.
Away we go then, the final event of the cross-country program.
They're all cheering you on, doesn't matter what country you're from, they're all screaming at you to ski harder.
If ever you need a visual representation of the weather, there it is.
And I love everything about it. It's so much fun.
Now coming in is Colin Cameron of Canada. And he's got icicles on the beard there.
My name is Colin Cameron. I'm on the Para Nordic national team for Team Canada. I was diagnosed with what's called arthrogryposis. So it's similar to muscular dystrophy right from birth. So I've always had this disability from day one. Yeah, it was definitely challenging growing up with arthrogryposis. I mean, I was definitely delayed when I learned to start walking. I didn't start walking until I was like 3 or 3.5. But growing up, I spent most of the time just like crawling around or using my arms to get myself around. I had a little skateboard that I would sit on or lay on just to scoot around the house and stuff. I found the winter really challenging growing up. Going outside was always a pain, literally, because it was so cold and just super sensitive to anything like colder than like -10. It was pretty brutal. And really not being able to do a lot of activities as easily as everyone else. I guess my love for sport started in just being a hockey fan as a kid. Like just growing up, my grandfather, my whole family was huge into hockey. So, you know, you see a lot of that transitioning from sledge hockey just because we're in Canada. So a lot of people, you know of sledge hockey. It gets prime time when the Paralympics are on. I knew of sledge hockey before I knew of any other kind of winter parasport, just because I was a hockey fan growing up. But I think, there's a huge skill set playing sledge hockey that you can put into any other kind of parasport, especially if you're just using your arms or upper body.
In late 2015, Cameron met Coach Patti Kitler through an online community known as the Sudbury Accessible Sports Council, where she convinced him to get on a sit ski for the first time.
Long story short, I found Para Nordic on Facebook and then ended up sending Patti an email, and she scooped me up like that.
The first day I met him is the most important for me because he got in the sit ski, he fell over backwards, got up and took off, and I'm there, oh my God. He has potential.
Honestly, fell in love with it right away. It wasn't anything special. I got on this makeshift bucket on some roller skis, and I think I fell over like 3 or 4 times, like cut up my hands and knuckles, and yeah, it was just so much fun. Like, I thought, if I'm having this much fun now, this will be a totally different game in the snow.
I said, we need to talk. There's a lot of opportunity here that Colin he could probably go to the Paralympics in 2018.
Today on CTV News at 5, making an impact.
To represent Canada, against the rest of the world, traveling to these different countries, it's definitely a pretty cool experience.
A Sudbury man is getting ready for the 2018 Paralympic Games.
I had never been in an airplane before I went to Canmore for the first time in 2015 for the ID camp. I went to Germany within like 6 months of learning how to ski, honestly, and was just thrown in the deep end and just tried to do my best. Yeah. 2016 had my first race, then I went to Finland. So then 2017 was the test event in Pyeongchang. That's where I got my first podium. And then another regular season through that, leading up to 2018, the Paralympics. I went there with the team, got to experience the whole thing. I got a bronze in my first race. Yeah, it's been crazy. I've been all over the world doing this in such a short amount of time. The program just, opened up the door for me to grab a hold of these opportunities with the national team and just make the most of it. And I really enjoyed it. I excelled at it. The coaches, the staff, I guess, saw something in me and offered opportunities. So yeah, having access to some sort of parasport literally changed my life, like completely for the better. It just gave me worlds amount more confidence, and just something that I can be, you know, proud of doing all the time. Like I have this extra activity that I can include in my life, and also, you know, the people I've met through it, the opportunities I've gotten just through skiing. It's been insane, honestly. Like I never imagined I'd be doing these things, all from just picking up a sport and having access to that sport here in Sudbury.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
Originally, the park idea was going to be a 12-acre park, and it was going to be a baseball diamond, the soccer field, just a lovely community gathering place. And I remember thinking, oh, first of all, we're going to have a 12-acre park. Isn't this lovely? And then they started purchasing larger and larger parcels of property, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And I got to tell you, when we started down this road, I think it was 2016, I never imagined, my imagination did not go to what's there now. And it just grew and grew and grew. And I thought, oh, this is lovely. We're going to preserve this green space. Well, then they started to build trails.
My name is Perry Saki. I grew up in Sudbury. I'm a Finnish by descent, so my parents had me on skis when I was 3. I was racing when about 6 or 7. I've been president of Laurentian Nordic for about 20 years. I'm a retired teacher. So I've been involved with skiing and Sudbury skiing for almost 50 years. I know what it is to be an athlete. I mean, I was part of our national program when I was a teenager way back when, and I knew what it meant to have a coach come out and give me training plans and to work with me. It was a good start. You know, that was our first real interval workout like that, and the more times we do this, the easier it's going to get next winter. And so if we work out on this hill 5 or 6 more times this fall, it's going to feel really nice in the winter time. For me to come out, it's not a chore, it's a love of mine, and to be able to work with student athletes and these students, it's just been tremendous. I mean, to have it in our own backyard, to have that opportunity, to have Para Ontario come to Kivi and use this facility is just going to be great for all of Ontario and especially our local athletes.
To be designated Ontario's Para Nordic Training Centre is amazing. Really, that's on the back of Patti and the other volunteers who really just take it on themselves to help grow that program. So really trying to develop that program to make it more accessible to more people. Maybe they're athletes that have done other sports, but to bring them into Para Nordic skiing and what it offers. And we're continuing to work with Patti and to other volunteers to grow that.
It's the first one in Canada. If you have a place where people know to come, then we get new people. We have Christina from Southern Ontario, she comes up. She meets Colin, she sees what he's doing, and now she's doing it back home. Kyle, he ended up moving up here so that he could train to make the Paralympics.
My name's Kyle Barber. I got involved with the team because I met Patti through talent search for Paralympics. It's been an uphill climb, but every year has been getting better and better. This year, the skis are now a part of me. A lot of people involved, a lot of time with Patti, but then the coaches with the Canadian Para Nordic squad have been helping me as well develop my skills. If I can say that I was able to go to the Paralympics, then I'd be very proud of that result.
That's the biggest win right there. If we can get as many different athletes, whether they're already established on the Ontario team, national team, whatever it might be, but it's also a great way to advertise and, you know, try and get interest out there to get new people, to get access to the coaches that we have, you know, get access to the athletes. One of my favorite things of doing at those training camps is, you know, going out skiing for the first time or roller skiing with someone brand new and just like hopefully sparking some sort of curiosity in a new person to make them interested in picking up Para Nordic, not even if it's for, competitive reasons, if it's just for the sake of getting someone outside and just having something that they can do.
The harder you work at something, the more you're going to get from it, and you're going to improve, and that just gives you confidence. It's the whole person is being developed, not just the physical side, but the mental side and the social aspect of the sport as well.
And what Kivi Park's done here with the crusher dust and all that, particularly for the mountain boards and for sit skiers, is kind of unbelievable, actually. Patti's really built something up here too. There's a good history and culture around Para Nordic sport. Really, the thing that stops skiing from developing in the bigger centers like Toronto, etc., is of course snow. So it's a great place to be hosting this type of thing.
But I believe our program helped them have more calmness and tenacity to go after things.
As a society, the way we treat everybody, that's the key. I mean, we all have to have an equal opportunity. And so if we can treat our able-bodied and disabled-bodied athletes in the same vein, that it's good for everyone.
Producer Jay Baxter. Writer, Director Jay Baxter. Narrator Jim Van Horn. Director of Photography Ryan Mariotti. Camera operators Ryan Mariotti, Paul W. Loss. Editor Ben Hancock. Sound mix Ben Hancock. Integrated Describe Video Specialist M. Williams. Video and photo provided by CTV News Northern Ontario, the City of Greater Sudbury, Alex Kowalenko. Special thanks Kivi Park. Graphics Andrew Antonello. Content Development Specialist Karen McGee. Coordinating Producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production Karen Nye. Director Programming Brian Perdue. VP Content Development and Programming John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2021 Accessible Media Inc.